Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 51. Today is Saturday, July 19th, 2014, and um, this might be one of my shortest episodes. Not that there wasn't a lot of knitting, but I was incredibly monogamous this week. So, what is it? So, I looked at my totals for Stash so far, and I figured out how long I have in order to meet my goals. And I realized this week that I really needed to haul on the Nuvum, which which when I finished the Nuvum would get me up to 80% of what I need for Stash, which would be as much as I knit last year, because last year the goal was 4 kilometers, and this year the goal is 5. So instead of spinning, I was wailing away on the Nuvum. So this is huge. Let me just sort of make it so it's outwards instead of bag-like. So this is where I stand right now. So what was it? Last week I was, before incorporating the Magnolia Dark back into the thing. And I don't remember how many grams I was at then. Maybe 90 or so. I weighed before I started the podcast. I'm now at 33 and a half. And probably the biggest accomplishment that I've done so far is I actually doubled the number of stitches for the ruffle. So I have, what is it? So I had, it looks like the ruffle rows are taking 6 grams a piece. So this means, what is it? So the ruffle rows are taking 6 grams a piece. I have, what is it? So I have probably about 2 more rows of green before I run out of the piney. And then I'll have maybe 1 row of the Magnolia Dark and the bind off, I think. I'll have to play it by ear, of course. But that should end up making up for, what is it, at least a few rounds of ruffle to be done. So right now what I'm doing is I'm establishing the 2x2 rib. I decided to go with the ruffle style from the Walk on the Moon, because this is a mashup of the pattern Walk on the Moon by Arlene's World of Lace and Nuvum, which is by Martina Bem. But obviously at the moment what is it? So hopefully everything works out. I was trying to do the correct balance of using as much of the yarn as possible, with making sure that I was including enough yarn for the ruffle. So I'm definitely starting the ruffle later than the pattern calls for. But the Walk on the Moon ruffle is actually quite small, so I'm hoping that that ends up, whatever, looking right for this. And it is basically a mile of knitting. So, what is it? So I managed to do some of the pattern, but I realized at some point there was no way that I was going to manage to actually finish all of the chart. So I just found that to actually be pretty interesting, is that it would have probably made sense to have dialed back on how much of the chart I had followed. and maybe not having as many plain rows between things, since I wasn't as limited because I'm working in the round instead of back and forth, so it's no big deal to have an odd number of rows between things. So it's not like I'm working on a right side or a wrong side. Sorry, my computer was apparently trying to install Java. So things are getting close. I'm monitoring the situation closely, but I really hope that I could finish this weekend. And then I could focus on another one of my projects in order to get to the end with Stash Dash. So all of this extra knitting time that I've had because the Tour de France is on has ended up basically going to getting this as close to done as possible. It is lovely, mindless knitting, but since I'm trying to establish the rib pattern, it's the case where, what is it? In getting the rib pattern established has been a little bit crazy making. Because I'll be wailing away and then realize I'm not switching at the right spot within whatever the double, and then I need to go back and figure out how far ago it was that I had done one knit or one purl instead of 2 knits and 2 purls. So that is a story there. It is really quite lovely so far, and hopefully you guys can get a sense for what it looks like. And what was it? So in other exciting news, what was it? Last night I was bored. And then decided to join Instagram. And the picture of the latest picture of the walk on the Nubum was one of my first things to put up. Oh, that's annoying. It looks like my browser window didn't retain all of my tabs, so hopefully there weren't any important tabs up there. There might have been one really useful one, actually. So what is it? So I've joined Instagram. I ended up going ahead and adding everyone who had linked their Instagram profile with their Facebook profile, and then ended up finding a couple of people to also friend as well. So my Instagram name is Deepbluerenegade, because that's what I'm known as on the internet. And feel free to follow me. I am, what is it? Oh. And I'll be more than happy to follow you guys too, especially if you end up taking pictures of knitting. It makes it a lot easier to know who it is that I'm following at the very least. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. And what else? So I ended up also getting the iSpin toolkit. I haven't had a chance to really use it because I basically stopped spinning for the week, which actually is a pretty good reminder. I'm pretty sure I actually did a little bit of spinning because I have a roll log attached to my spindle. So this is actually most of a roll log here. And then I have my spindle here. I haven't even waited to check to see how much I've actually done on this. This is the first of, so this was the going to be the first 2-ounce skein, and I'm working on the singles for it, but I'm not halfway through yet, which I suppose is no big deal in the grand scheme of things. Hopefully you guys can't hear that helicopter. Oh well, it feels a little bit loud today for whatever reason. So, I spun part of a roll log this week before I ended up switching totally over to the new boom. Or the walk on the new boom, as the case may be. So, yeah, no, this totally fell to the wayside. But in terms of accomplishing things for Stash Dash, it just made a lot more sense, at least to me, to focus on something that would give me a lot of yards, because I'd rather come back to this after I know I'm pretty secure in making it to my total. So the chocolate Shetland fleece continues. I don't know if you guys can even really see how it's coming together, but I don't know if that is the danger of the dark fiber. So that is the story there. So I've joined Instagram. I have the Iceman toolkit, so it might be interesting to actually put my singles up to it and see how it is. The very nice thing about the Iceman toolkit is it gives you, what is it? The short answer is that it is one of those all-in-one tools, so you can figure out about what your reps per inch are and what your twist angle is and where your grist is coming in at. So, and it's just something where I haven't, what is it? There are definitely no spinning shop or spinning stores in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. There weren't any spinning stores where I was in Indiana. There was some spinning in Albuquerque, but they didn't necessarily have some of these tools like tools like, I don't know, ways to better quantify your spinning so that you're looking at things, what is it? Oh, words are escaping me. I think the short answer is that now that I sort of feel like I have a grasp of making good singles and applying them together and making a yarn that I intend to make and stuff like that, to now sort of dig into those technical details of how to make a consistent yarn, how to know at the start what sort of yarn you're going to be making and that sort of thing. So hopefully I can start to get a sense for that, and I figured that having a good tool in order to keep track of my progress and measure my progress was a good thing for that. But yeah, no, that is all of the content for the show this week. I was trying to figure out a way to justify recording next week, but really there is just no possible way. This is going to be the last recording on the balcony here. I'm going to be moving to my new apartment, starting on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll be really busy transferring my stuff and getting everything set up there. And then I'm going to be going to Michigan for the weekend. So for family reunion and wedding, and then the weekend after that, I'm actually have an opportunity, like my husband is actually coming down to visit. So I'm trying to think if it might work out to do something midweek on the last week of July. But we shall see how that goes. But it's looking like the weekend isn't going to happen, so oh well. What else? So I guess that means that I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be recording next, but if I can manage to squeeze something in next week, I'll try, but it seems unlikely, so it's probably going to be the week after that. Any other? As I said, this was going to be the shortest episode. So what is it? Like, I hope that if anyone else is participating in Stash Dash, that they're really getting close to their goals at this point. And I hope you all have a really wonderful week. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.